Hi there, it is Jo from Minerva, and today I'm here for my final Savannah dress hack, and today I'm going to use a woven fabric. If you've not seen the Savannah dress pattern yet, it's a Minerva exclusive pattern and it's actually for stretch fabrics, but I'm going to see if we can find a way of making it with a woven fabric. You'll need to choose your woven fabric carefully because you'll still want that sort of drape on the sleeve. You'll still want that beautiful cocoon shape going from your waist out to your hips. We'll need to make a few changes to use a woven fabric. So today we're going to add a zip so that you can get the dress on and off. And we're also going to think about the sleeve finish, and maybe you could choose a V-neck for this dress, or you could choose a round neck. Either way, we'll need to know how to finish that neckline because we're adding a zip. Those are all the things that we're going to look at today, so if it's of interest to you, stay tuned. The Savannah dress is quite a casual dress, but some people have really styled it up and it looks really nice. So if you use a French terry or a Ponte Roma and you layer it up with tights and boots, or you put another sort of flowing cardigan layer on top, it can look really smart. But I was wondering, I wonder what would happen if we made it out of a woven fabric. So this is a crepe. A crepe has a sort of nubby texture, just a very fine, sort of looks like a sandpaper texture, but it's nice and soft, and it's got lovely drape. Wherever it hangs, it just moves to the next position, so it's not structured. If I hold it, it won't stay there, it just immediately drops down. So you're going to need a fabric that's got some drape to make this project. A viscose challis would work, or a crepe. Anything with tencel or lyocell, those are all fibres that will create drape in a fabric. The one I'm wearing today is a V-neck version of the Savannah dress. This is a French terry. It's really comfortable. This one I sized down, so I get a bit more of a fitted silhouette. You can size up and get more ease, but you will find that out in my how to fit your Savannah dress video. For a woven version, then I suggest you maybe retake your measurements again. If you've made the stretch dress and you've enjoyed wearing it and you like the fit of it, then you might want to compare the sizes of it to the finished garment measurements, so that you know that when you've made something in your woven fabric, you'll have ease when you're sitting down. I'm heading over to the cutting table because I'm going to show you a few things that you need to do differently right from the cutting stage, so that you can put this dress together and create a woven Savannah dress. When cutting for a woven hack, we need to make sure that we can get the dress on. So we're going to put a zip in the back, and that zip will mean that we can get this over our head and we can really splay out that shoulder shape to get it over our shoulders. It will mean that we're going to cut the front on the fold because we still want that curved shape coming from the neck. But we don't need to cut the back on the fold. So this one can now be cut as two separate pieces because we're going to seam the back of our dress. Because we're seaming it, then we need to add a seam allowance along the back center fold. So normally that would be a fold, but because we're seaming it, we don't want to lose 3 centimeters in the back or it will become too tight in the neck. I'm going to add the seam allowance, and that will become my new cutting line. This seam up here will be what I use to put my zip in. I've made a little mark because I need a point where I'm now going to stop sewing down the centre back seam, and it's the end of the zipper stop. So I've marked that on too. I'll be putting a tailor's tack there on my cut piece so that I know where to stop sewing. Then this piece will remain open. I can cut out my pieces and then we can take a look at how this is going to change the construction when we're sewing our woven Savannah dress together. It's really important if you're making a woven version to put all of the pattern markings on, because you're not going to be able to just stretch seams to fit. There's a little less tolerance with a woven fabric than there is with a stretch one. Okay, let's go and start putting our dress together. So now you've got a back seam, which you don't normally have in the Savannah dress, but that means that we have the opening for the zip at the top. That's pressed under. And I've really treated this nicely with the iron. I've used a press cloth. I've pressed it from both sides and I've pressed the seam open. We can now go ahead and put the side pieces on, and that's the different part of the back that I wanted to show you a little bit more slowly. We've got the back now with the zip opening and the front, so we can attach those at the shoulders. We're going to finish the neck off before we start putting the zip in, because we want this to stop fraying while we're working. So you can either get a piece of ready-made bias binding that's cut on the bias for a little bit of stretch, or you can cut a piece of crepe and add that as a self-bias binding, but you need to remember to cut it on the bias. And you're going to attach the binding right sides together, opening out the crease fold and using that as a stitch guide to attach it to the neckline. I've stitched it on and then understitched it to keep all of that seam allowance, and you can see it's fraying a little bit there. All that is going up and away from the dress. So now I can fold the binding over and fold it again, pin it in place. If you think you might catch the thread of crepe, you know, you don't want to make little marks on the right side, then you can use clips. It just protects the fabric a little bit more. You'll be wanting to make sure that the binding is on the inside, and you've got a little bit of a turn of cloth on the right side. And then you can take it back through the machine for a second pass, and this time you'll be sewing here. You will see that on the right side as a line of stitching, so make sure that you work really carefully. There's your neckline, all nice and pressed. So with that one line of top stitching and the binding all nice and flat. Okay, let's go to the zip. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. So you can insert your zip so that the zipper teeth and tape are really close to the edge, or you can have an exposed zip. Next up, we're going to put the zip in. So you could put a much longer zip in if you wanted to, but this short zip just gives enough space for me to get it across my shoulders. Because it's not fitted in the waist, then I don't necessarily need a zip that goes all the way down past my waist. It depends on your body proportions. You might find that you can get it over your shoulders, but you need a little bit more room to get it around your tummy or your hips. So you'll need to maybe try it on before you sew up the back seam, and then you can tack the back seam, try it on and see where you're getting a sort of tighter point and where you need to use the features of a zip to help you get it on and off. I've folded the tape down at a right angle, so that's out of the way, and sewn one side of the zip. And now I'm going to do the same on the other side. Fold the top of the zipper tapes to a right angle and pin those to the edge of the fabric. Makes a neat finish at the top of your zip. And then you can continue to pin the zip, leaving the same allowance on either side of the zipper tape. If you want to tack this in place, it's a good idea if you've not put zips in before, and then you get an accurate zip that meets at the top. Once it's sewn, you can try your zip to check it's not catching on the fabric either side of the zipper tape. Once you've got the zip in, you can finish it off with a hook and eye at the top. Trim off any excess tab, and you can hand sew the tops down while you sew down the hook and eye. You can finish the dress now by lining up the side seams. Be super careful here where your pocket is, that you get those two lines to match up. Get your pocket to lie nice and flat. Finish this edge, and then you can hem around the hem of the dress and around your sleeve hems. We'll try the dress on and we can have a look at some of the different features, and we can also take a look at the fit of the dress with a woven fabric. Okay, so here is the fit. It's still got the ease in the waist. I'm wearing tights today, so it's just on my knee because I'm quite short, so it does normally come just above your knee. I've kept the pockets so that when I sit down, those pockets can open, and that gives me the ease across the hips. I'm experimenting with a few things on the shoulders, so I haven't put the hemband on this one. I've just top stitched it down. I haven't done this one because I just wanted to show you something else. So I was trying to get a split sleeve there, but I didn't quite cut it long enough. So if I cut it longer, and so just to my shoulder point, maybe a little bit higher up, I was going to try and achieve a sort of draping shoulder there, where you expose more of your shoulder if you want to make it more of an evening style. So I haven't finished that side yet. I just wanted to show you to compare. You could still put the hemband on there. That would fall quite nicely in crepe. You would have you know, a banding here that finished off the sleeve. It's easy to get on and off because I've got the zip, I've got a hook and eye at the top. You don't even know that the zip's there. It just feels like you're wearing a really easy and comfortable to wear dress. Just elevates it a little bit more. So think of some draping fabrics you'd like to work with. It's better with a draping fabric. If you use a more structured cotton or poplin, you might have shoulders that stick out a little bit and a little bit less give. You can get a stretch crepe and that would work pretty well too. I wouldn't recommend omitting the pockets for this pattern unless you really know it very well in terms of fit, because if you take the pockets out, you'll lose some of the ease when you sit down of the pockets opening. So if you don't have the pockets, then your dress will all round be a little bit tighter when you sit down, because there's no room for the fabric to sort of pop open at your hips. So think about that before you start making or cutting your Savannah dress in a woven fabric. You'll need to have a little bit of knowledge of the fit of the dress so that you can swap from stretch to woven. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today. It's certainly something to think about. You might need to make sure that you've either toiled your dress in the woven fabric, or you've definitely made a Savannah already in a stretch fabric so that you've got some measurements to compare to, because with a woven fabric you're not going to have that ease for getting on and off the dress. We would love to see if you try this hack. It'd be really interesting, and which fabrics work for it. That would be great. It'll be a real inspiration to our Minerva makers. If you've made one, we'd love to see it, so do take some photographs, share your makes over on Minerva and make a free account. You can also join the craft club there, where you will receive discounts and offers throughout the year. We would love to see you back here for more hacking videos, learn to sew videos, pairings and new fabric releases, all from Vicky. So they are on our YouTube channel over there, or on our Minerva feed on our website. Thanks very much for watching. See you again soon.